What can I call you?
He called me AP. A lot of people pronounce it app. It's not app. It's AP. It's a stupid name I came up with when I was watching Rooster Teeth videos. I was drunk. It actually stands for anger pony, and I thought that was hilarious. A lot of people when they find that out are like, "Oh, you're Brody." I'm like, no, nothing to do with that. It's just it was something funny I heard while I was drunk, and that's pretty much where that AP came from. But most people call me AP if they can pronounce it correctly.
AP. All right. How have you been?
Pretty good, man. We're just getting a bunch of projects sorted, trying to prioritize more things that people want. That's basically it. Getting back on the gym,
That must
trying
feel
not to
pretty
get.
good.
Oh yeah, it's a long time coming. I haven't consistently been back for I don't know. It's probably been about 2 3 years. So I just started going back again last week because I moved out here when I was back. I'm from California. I broke my leg while I was skating, so I used to smoke a shit ton of pot, and I got fat doing that. But I couldn't walk or do anything after that point. So then I moved out here, out to Mississippi, and I don't really like fried food that much. So I actually lost weight, weirdly enough.
Hmm.
And then we just kind of gravitated over from there. I'm trying to get back into peak high school thing where I had abs, had all that shit going on. Like to see that happen again. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm gonna attempt to make it happen. So
Yeah. Good luck. I know
appreciate
it's
it, man.
it's one day at a time. That's all we can do.
Oh, absolutely.
How old are you?
I am 32 years old.
32 years young. What? How long have you been a creator?
I've been a creator. I started on Justin TV, so as far as live content, I've been doing that for I don't know about 13-ish years, somewhere around there. YouTube, I just kind of started that up seriously probably last year.
Oh, crazy. That's a long go of it.
I've been involved, like with entertainment industry stuff for a while. I used to live next to MC Hammer back in Tracy, California. I was his next door neighbor, and he taught me audio engineering. So that was my start with anything entertainment wise.
Oh, cool. That's a
I
cool
was like
story.
12 or 13, somewhere around there. I played baseball with his nephew.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's a hell of a weird neighbor, man. He still wears the pants. He'd go to Jack in the Box, right? And he would always try to get his kids to eat healthy, so he'd always order them a hamburger bun with ketchup on it. So
Oh,
I don't know, crazy, crazy guy.
jeez. What made
So
you start creating?
I used to be a pretty shitty person, so I needed like an outlet to kind of like maybe give people something they could kind of look forward to do, and then maybe hear some stories about what you shouldn't do with your life, and maybe stop them from going that path. That was the original intent behind it.
What do you hope to achieve as a creator?
I just want to get my family good, man. That's it. I got a wife and I got a small son with autism, and I just want to kind of be like there instead of like doing the 9 to 5 grind kind of thing. I know that's like the worst way to kind of like go about it and stuff like that, but it is an overall goal. I'm a big believer that everybody does this for a certain reason. They'll kind of say they do it for fun or whatever reason, but then you'll see they have like affiliate links. They sign the contract for their affiliate or their partnership. Like, no, I do it for fun. I'm like, no, no, you don't. You do it for a paycheck, just like the rest of us. You
Hmm.
don't have to lie. That's just my personal thing about it.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I wanted to actually do business, and I went to school. I went to God, what the hell's that college's name? I can't recall the college's name. It's not that important. Got a BA in business, basically. So I actually wanted to run something.
All right.
So what that was, I'm not really sure. There was an intent behind it. My parents paid for it, so I went. Yeah, it's just something a little more practical. I mean, I have that degree. I've never used it, but if all this fails, I can always take it and do like some behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like a business degree is going to be good in whatever field. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody has some kind of like department that handles finances and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a good one to have. Better than no degree like me.
It's, I don't. I kind of weird with college. I don't really think you need a degree in this world nowadays to actually succeed at anything. If you're going to be a doctor or like a surgeon or a scientist, yeah, you probably should get a degree. But I'm more of the belief that you should just have certs. Certs are a lot more important than a degree
Hmm.
because I mean, there's no guarantee you get anything out of it besides debt. It's always the way I've looked at it.
Yeah, and debt I don't need. That's for sure.
No, no, debt sucks. You don't want that.
What kind of foods do you
It's
like?
foods. I try a lot of different things. I'm not really like a set person on what I want to eat. I've been eating some bulgogi, which is like Korean. So I've been trying that, and I found this like taco place that's like Korean Mexican infusion. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. That sounds really, really good. Do they have spicy stuff?
They do spicy stuff. Yeah, they got these kimchi burrito. That's ooh,
I'd like to try
it's
spicy stuff.
man,
I'd probably have
it's wild. It's a wild burrito.
have some yogurt nearby just in case.
It's painful. It's genuinely probably the most painful piece of food I've ever eaten at a restaurant. It's good. It has flavor, but it hurts.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know what they put in it, but it's bad.
I think I'd put
My
myself
fault.
through that.
I've subjected myself to many spice. I've done that one chip stuff. I've done ghost peppers. I've done all that.
Oh, wow.
Oof. That's those just taste like pain. This actually tastes like something.
What kind of games do you like?
You see the background? I can't clip out very well for whatever reason. I'm an MMO guy. I played WoW professionally. I've been to BlizzCon, competed there. I have several world first titles under my belt. I don't take it seriously anymore. However, it got to the point where people want to kind of like force it like this slave labor kind of thing. The guild master that I'm talking about is this guy named Rignaros. I don't know if he's still active or not. He was the leader of Blood Legion, and he was a tyrant. And we had a falling out, and that's pretty much where I stopped trying to do this competitively. Other than that, I like horror games. I like weirder games like that. Like Octodad was pretty cool. Like things that are just like out there, indie-wise, horror, all that.
Yeah, there's so many good indie games coming out. It feels like a good time to be alive and a gamer.
Oh yeah, they got this Metroidvania coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but it's super 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 violent. Like it's like probably the most violent game I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
But it looks good. I cannot remember the name of it. I'll have to DM it to you later once I figure it out. It might be out now. I'm not sure. I was telling people about it. I think the next one I'm hopping into indie-wise is going to be The Front, though. So that's like a game that's like blending survival and a bunch of other genres. Like if you watch the trailer, there's a lot of things going on there.
Cool.
And then I'm looking forward to the day before if it ever becomes a real thing. Yeah, it's like Division zombies. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with that if you have the imagination for it. I don't. I just kind of want to play through it and fuck around, but that's it. That's it, though, as far as stuff I have coming out that I want to play. Picked up Alan Wake 2. Probably going to start playing that tomorrow, maybe,
Nice.
if time allows.
What's the first game you remember loving?
Pokemon Blue. The very first. This is how I actually got into competitive gaming. The original thing, because I was so good at that game. I would. I mean, you had to have the cable link back then. I don't know if you played them back in the day, but you had to have a cable link.
Yeah.
And I would be taking people's legendaries left and right. Your Mewtwo's, we'd battle for them. I think I had somewhere like 30 of them or something ridiculous.
Oh, jeez. That's
That
crazy.
was the first taste of competitive gaming I had.
Just stealing everybody's Mewtwo's? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was good at it. they sucked. I figured out that certain team combinations, like everybody would be like pulling like these things that look ferocious, but there'd be certain ones that were not ferocious looking that were much better. Ditto was pretty good if you set it up correctly. I don't know how I figured this all out because the internet wasn't around then. I mean, you had the internet, but it was like for stealing songs off LimeWire and shit like that, right?
Yeah, it was just
There
game
wasn't
facts.
like guides. Yeah, game facts and people's terrible like 80p like videos.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Just
That was
huge. Get lost of text. Man, I remember
Oh yeah,
those days.
absolutely. There's just a lot of good stuff with it, man. That was my first like taste into like competitive stuff. I mean, I did that. I was really good at Halo 2, the original. I remember I was trying to go down to LA to compete. My mom would not foot up the $500 to house me in the hotel down there. She would not do it. So that kind of sucked. But I found my way back to it eventually.
What kind of movies do you like?
Oh, movies. I'm kind of move around on those a lot. I'm liking a lot of Korean films right now. They do a lot well. They really do. I watched this revenge movie the other day. So like your wrong turns and stuff like that. The protagonist gets like something terrible happens to him, and they go and they just like annihilate everybody. Right?
Yeah.
I saw The Devil's a lot different. I want to say he's a cop, and his girlfriend, this dude, and he ends up stalking him, catching this dude, torturing him, and letting him go like over and over again before he actually offs him. It's a pretty wild movie. It's not new. It's been out for several years, but it's probably the most unique like revenge movie I've ever watched.
Crazy.
So I'm kind of digging a lot of those right now. I haven't really taken advantage of October the way I do, because most of the time I usually just like screw around, watch a lot of horror, and play a lot of horror stuff. But I honestly haven't really done much of anything with that.
What's your favorite childhood movie?
Childhood movie is going to be probably Toy Story. You got to go with one of the OGs. I'd watch that movie all the time. I actually have another one that's not much of a childhood movie. It At least it wasn't meant for children. Like Starship Troopers, I'd watch that movie so much. It could like pull up credits and I'd watch it. It didn't matter where it was. I'd watch it anytime it came on.
That's awesome.
My mom would be so pissed. She'd come in when the shower scene's on. I'm like, whoa. Like, well, it's a good movie. Movie's actually, it's actually anti-war propaganda is what that movie is.
Why is it always on the shower scene?
Oh, it's always one of the inappropriate scenes.
Yeah.
Always. I remember I watched this movie, Python. It's like one of the sci-fi movies, and the chick's getting bit in the tit, and she's like, "No, I gotta turn it off." I'm like, "What? Why? It's just a movie. It's not that big of a deal."
Yeah. What's your favorite childhood memory?
We go down to Monterey all the time. So we go down to Monterey, I think like twice a year, Monterey, California, which is like an hour and a half for me to go to like the aquarium and kind of wander around. It's like gloomy little like coastal town. So I remember one of the times we stopped there, it wasn't a GPS at the time, the MapQuest or whatever we're using. We ended up turning the wrong way, and we ended up like in this like little like creepy Silent Hill looking like town, and they had like slugs everywhere. It was pretty creepy. I think that's probably one of my more fond ones. Because I did a lot of stuff like that. I mean, I still do a lot of stuff like that. I've always been into like that kind of like, I don't know, more gloomy side of things. Like I'll do urbex in my free time whenever I got time. I bench things. It's just that's what it is. I mean, I kind of, I guess, shaped myself to be a certain way later in life, and now I can do it whenever I want.
Do you have a role model or
No
childhood hero?
I had a childhood hero, but then he OD'd.
Oh no.
That was my uncle. He ended up having a heart attack on the toilet from cocaine. Yeah.
My uncle.
So he was a role model, but you know he ended up not being one later.
My uncle died of a drug overdose too.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you, man. It was definitely before his time.
Yeah, I mean the substances you get hooked on them, they fuck with shit a lot. You know, I'm clean off of them myself. I used to be pretty heavily addicted to many things. If you can name it, I've probably done it for at least 3-4 months. I think the only thing I still continue to use is going to be hallucinogens, but it's more like kind of like journey therapy kind of thing. It's not just like get high, because a lot of people are like, oh, why do you use this? You're always by yourself. I'm like, because it serves a purpose. I'm not using it to get high. I'm using it for understanding of certain things.
Like psilocybin, you mean?
I'm more LSD.
Okay.
We don't really get a lot of them. Like, I mean, they grow out here in like the fall, but nobody ever has them, or the people that do grow them screw with the batches quite a bit.
Okay.
Like they'll get like spores on it, just like ruins the entire. I don't really know what they call it. I just call it a batch, you know.
Yeah.
But that's about it. As far as like anything I take that's intoxicating, I drink, not heavily, but every once in a while.
That's the best way to do it.
In moderation. I mean, I don't want to quit everything. You know, obviously, I'm not trying to like rail 8 balls of cocaine and fucking go on benders off of like rooftops, getting naked and running around the town anymore. We've been there. I'm not trying to go back to that.
Yeah.
It was fun while it happened, but at this time, no, I'm good now.
Yeah, a little too old for that now.
Oh yeah. Everything hurts now.
What jobs have you had, best and worst?
Jobs. My bad. I'm kind of a little bit deaf. I've worked several different things. You know, I'm doing this right now. I've done armed security in the past. I've done hotels. I've done retail. I've done food and found out I hate people that make food and I can't work with them because they're the most irritating group of people playing. I've been a bouncer. I've been a bodyguard. I've been all sorts of shit.
That's awesome. Which was one of your favorites?
Richard Pombo. He was a corrupt congressman for California. I don't know if he's active anymore, but he was one of the guys I guarded for a while. And there'd be a bunch of weird, interesting shit going on at that dude's house, nonstop. So, I mean, nothing like super illegal. I'm sure some of it probably was, but you know, I'm just wandering around the outside the guy's property, not really doing too much.
That sounds interesting.
He was an interesting guy. He's he was another person I met playing baseball. I played with his nephew as well, and his nephew introduced me to him, and that worked out for whatever reason. I did that for 2 years.
Do you watch shows or anime?
Not really much of an anime person, unless it's like older. I like shows like Berserk, of like Detective Conan, your Tenchi Muyo, stuff like that. Show-wise, last show I watched is called Sinner. It won't have another season, unfortunately. I still have one left. It's on Netflix, but that's as far as it goes. I like a lot of Korean TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
not like the dramas, not K-dramas, stuff like that, but the zombie stuff they put out is pretty good. Surprisingly, a lot of it's pretty good.
He
Oh, I hate
poisons-
that girl.
Yeah, she basically.
I fucking
poisons the
hate
other
that girl.
kid
Stabs that dude
just so
because
that
she doesn't
can be
like that he's
right.
poor.
Yeah.
She's a bitch. I fucking hate that girl.
I think everybody's supposed to, and that's what makes it so good. Is because everybody loves to hate her.
I don't remember she died. Come to think of it, I remember watching. I'm like, I hope this bitch gets got. I really do.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
should just throw her out the fucking window because I would.
What are your current goals or plans?
Current goals or plans is to get out of Mississippi and move out to Atlanta or North Carolina. It's either Charlotte or Atlanta. Those are the two destinations I see myself. I thought about going back to California, but I've had to go down to LA, and I'm not really a huge fan of LA. But those are about the only like feasible goals I have at the moment is to get out of my parents' house and get down there. Yeah, I mean it's a feasible goal too. There's a lot of people you'll see them post like these like immeasurable things. Like I'm all for that, but you have to have like stepping stones. And if you want to do this industry, I feel like it kind of helps to like move to one of those places, Atlanta especially, because Atlanta is now fastly becoming LA without the LA issues.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of like film and stuff going on right there. So if you're in this industry, I kind of feel like going to those places and having those people nearby is more beneficial than trying to do it remote. Doesn't work for some people remote. It worked for Ninja, sure. It's worked for several people. I just feel like it's more beneficial for the everyday creator to kind of be in like one of these places if you take it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any tattoos?
No tattoos. I used to have several piercings. I've never had a tattoo. I am terrified of needles.
That's the second time I've gotten that answer.
I hate needles, man. I can't do it. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and let somebody repeatedly jab me for some shit. I mean, I've thought about getting a tattoo several times, and I hear like people make that argument, like, oh, they're gonna look ugly when you're older. I'm like, to be fair, we're all gonna look ugly as shit when we're older anyway. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
So,
If you were to get one, what would you get?
I'm actually working. I'd like to get this Magikarp Gyarados kind of thing. Like, I play a lot of those Yakuza games. I've always liked that style of tattoo. And a whole entire back piece in that style would be pretty legit, I think.
Oh, that would be
expensive as fuck, but
that would
it'd be worth it.
Something to do like over a couple of years. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
It's a cool ass concept. It's probably one of the best like ideas I've ever had. That I won't do, but might do if convinced.
What are some of the tough parts of being a creator?
Loneliness. You're gonna come across a lot of stuff like this where you're gonna upset people. You're gonna upset people. You're gonna like people in your real life and stuff like that. You're gonna have to sacrifice time. If you want to make this, you have to sacrifice that time. A lot of people want to try to balance this stuff out, and then they want to complain about how it's not like going in that direction. But if you look at a lot of these other people, they were by themselves. They spend the majority of their times by themselves. You're gonna have long nights. You're gonna get off of work. You're gonna hit this computer immediately to get that stuff done. You're gonna come across a lot of people you don't like, that you don't meld with, but you have to pretend to like. And you're just gonna isolate yourself. It's a huge fucking time sink, but that's what it takes.
Mm.
I mean, it's not obviously the norm. You got people like that German kid who is every time he kills somebody in Warzone, he throw a rave in his house, cross mouse or something like that. That's the exception. Like, there's a few people that get away with that stuff where it's immediate, but the vast majority, I don't really like grind culture, but you got to understand the realities of it. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of like test the waters. I mean, you're gonna have to experiment with different like time like slots and stuff, whatever works for you. Like, I stream every other day. I don't stream every day, but I'm always doing something every single day.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced depression or anxiety?
Oh, I got a lot of that. I got a mass amount of that, but I kind of like supplement keeping it at bay by working. That's it. If I'm like crafting something here, I'm not thinking about it. If I'm in the gym, I'm not thinking about it. I think depression and anxiety are definitely things, but I don't think they're like this in sentence that people want to make them out to be. We're like, oh, you're going to have it forever. I don't believe that. I think you can get rid of it.
What are some things you do to relax?
I watch a couple of things. I watch YouTube videos. Like, I'll go on Spotify, I'll go on YouTube, and I'll look up like new artists, and I'll try to find ones. Like, if I don't see a name that I recognize, I'll go and give it a listen. Other than that, I do hikes, I do metal detecting. I brainstorm ideas. That's pretty much my idea of relaxing.
What do you think about meditation?
Never tried it personally. I think it can work for a select group of people. If you have the focus for it, the patience to kind of like learn about it, sure, go for it. I've never tried it. I might in the future, but it's not something I'm currently exploring right now.
What does a dream vacation look like?
Dream vacation is to Dubai, to the Burj Al Khalifa, one of the only 7-star hotels in the world. It's the big one. It looks like a sail. It's I think the tallest man-made structure now. I want to say, or second, it's up there. Ferrari World's out there. I've been to Dubai. I didn't stay in this hotel. Same dude, like I mentioned earlier, the guy who played baseball is the senator's like nephew. We went out there for his bachelor party. So it's an expensive, very very expensive destination, but it's probably one of the more like unique places you can go. There's people that deliver pizzas out in supercars. You'll see people drive around with like big cats in the back seat, like lions and tigers and shit. It's a weird place.
That's crazy.
But there's nothing else quite like it.
What's something you're passionate about?
Content, that's it, man. Content and try to educate people about the correct path in life. You know, I did drug trafficking. I used to gangbang. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've had all sorts of bad shit happen because of my own fault. And it wasn't my parents' kind of thing, you know. I saw this, I glamorized it, and I wanted to be a part of it, so I became part of it. And I suffered some consequences, so now I'm just trying to keep people kind of away from doing that if I can. Outreach, basically, I guess you can call it.
Honorable. How do you deal with the stress in your life?
It's by working, man. That's it. Working. Outdoors is very, very therapeutic, like I said. Like, I mean, if you're outdoors in nature, you're wandering around and stuff like that, out on a trail, especially night hikes, and there's nothing else going around, you're not thinking about that stuff that gets you down. You're not. You're just there in the moment observing things, and I think it's probably the best way to alleviate stress, honestly.
Good answer. Keeping busy, I think, is very important.
Oh yeah, it's key. I mean, like I said, you're not getting depressed and sad if you're doing stuff. Your mind's occupied. I just think that a lot of that stuff kind of like permeates when you're just idling around doing nothing.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
A little bit of both. I can play ball with both, man. Most of the time, I pretty much stick to myself. I do go out like once a month, but you know, I'm just hanging out with old party friends and stuff like that. They're drunk. They're not gonna fucking notice me being weird or not anyway.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Out of Mississippi, hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah, out of Mississippi, out of these 9-to-5s.
It's a pretty good goal. Hopefully you get there.
Yeah, put steps where it needs to go in and stuff like that. You know, like I said, I can fall back on that business degree if I really need to.
What do you hope improves the most in the next 5 years?
I'd like us to go to actual AI because I feel like AI has a lot of like applications that are good, but we don't really have actual AI because AI itself is going to have to be something that independently thinks for itself. If I can't go on like Chat GPT, for example, and ask it a question that it finds morally apprehensible, for example, that's not true AI. It's a VI. I think AI is a good concept, but I don't think we're actually in the AI like age just yet. We're with that VI, so I'd like to see that kind of improve. I'd like us to have some kind of like geopolitical shift as well, you know. Maybe not pay these dudes any money. Kind of get that going down, you know.
What's harder than you thought it would be as a creator, and what's easier?
Ooh, trying to find originality is probably the easiest thing a lot of people overlook. What's hard is trying to like actually like take that originality and then making it into something and like staying committed to it regardless if it's like a bad day or whatever. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, all the original ideas gone. No, they're not gone. You just have to kind of like approach them a different way. I think just like being the actual like creative side, a lot of people just sit and they grind like games. Like they'll just sit there and play Call of Duty every single day and wonder why they're stagnant and not doing anything, you know? You can't just be good. You have to like come up with something that people haven't really seen before.
Who is your favorite creator?
Favorite creator right now? That is a tough one because it's going to vary by genre and industry itself. I don't honestly know. I don't put people on pedestals, you know. I don't really approach it like that. Like a lot of people like get like these enraptured things where you see like these big streamers or YouTubers and they're just like, oh my god. No. If I had to pick one, to be honest with you, it's gonna be kind of weird. It's another thing I kind of care about or really, really, really care about seeing happen. I'm gonna put Gideon up there and Skeeter Gene. So whenever they do like collabs, like I'm big into watching like scumbags like get what's coming to them, so they do like those pedophile catches and stuff like that. So I watch a lot of those, and I'd have to probably say they're probably the two better ones at it. He does a bunch of stuff too, but the Skeeter Gene's the guy that actually does like all like the catches. Gideon's more I don't really know, like I don't really know what to describe as content. It's just random stuff.
What would you say is your greatest ambition?
Greatest ambition is actually I want to start like I want to start with a land center, but I want to create a production company.
production company.
Because I don't see this as like an end all be all. Like I don't see myself streaming or making YouTube videos for the end of my life. You know, you got to have some. If you want to stay in this industry, you can. You're just gonna have to kind of like move into like a more supporting like role eventually. You know, so a production company is definitely something I'd like to get one day.
If you won the lottery, would you still be a creator?
Yes, I had to have something to do. You know, like I said, it's about a paycheck, but it's also kind of like proving people wrong. There's a lot of people from my hometown, stuff like that, shit on me growing up, and it's a little bit of revenge, you know.
Yeah.
I just want to remind them, like, hey, motherfuckers, I'm better than you. It's a douchey answer. I understand it's a douchey answer, but they're fucking pieces of shit, and I don't care. They deserve it. Fuck those kids.
What are some of the best parts of creating?
When you finally get the project out and it's actually like well received, like I do like the commentary stuff like that. I try to like swap between YouTube stuff. Like I'll do like a lore video, and then I'll do like a kind of like a pseudo conspiracy video, and then I'll do like a commentary video on somebody like that. It's just good seeing like people like, hey, where's that Just Gooby video? Where's the Just Gooby video? Where's the Just Gooby video? Like, hey, you guys like this? All right, we'll make more. So it's like validation, I guess, is probably one of the best parts.
What is something about you that we don't know?
I'm pretty open with everything, man. I used to be one of the sheep people, like one of the sheep creators on there. Just kind of went with like the flow. Everybody believes like you got to be super positive, all this. And I decided that people like the villain a lot more, and I started playing that role, you know. And I guess like I've never really done that, so I didn't know that about me, and it's working a little bit better, I guess.
Good for
But
you.
other than that, I don't have anything in my background like people can look up and try to expose for. None of that shit. They're welcome to try. I'm open with everything.
What do you want your followers to know about you?
That they can actually accomplish something instead of like feeling like they're like alone like I did. I feel like that's one of the more important things that has something to do with money. If you can make that happen, a lot of people be like, "What's the meaning to life?" and what true happiness is. I think personally, it's just improving at least one person's outlook on something to be inspired to do something greater than themselves. So I think that's kind of what I want.
What questions have I not asked that I should have asked?
That I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm pretty new to the interview stuff myself too. Like I typically when I set up like interviews with people, like I've only done one so far with I've never interviewed any creators. I only interview scumbags. Only scumbags when you sit on there and pick their brains apart and see what makes them tick. But I usually just kind of like watch everything there is that's like around them. I don't really go like after the huge ones like everyone's gonna know like your Logan Pauls and those shit. Like those kind of like shitty things they do or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like watch what's out there, like from like mid-range people. I feel like to develop better questions, you kind of like have to do like the research on people. That's not like just like the overview that somebody made that to get like 1 million views, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like questions you should ask are going to be ones that you just come up with yourself, and not necessarily what the interviewee thinks or feels.
Mm-hmm. All right. How can we find you?
You can find me on kick.com/apstreamz or twitch.tv/apstreamz with the Z. YouTube videos, same thing. I am on every other day, Central Time from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join my Discord. You can hit me up on Twitter at apstreamz1 because I lost the original account. And that's pretty much it. I guess you could dox me and come to my house. I don't know. I've had that happen one time.
Oh, no.
This dude showed up at my house, like back when I was living with my parents and shit, like the first time. My mom wakes up at like 5, like there's a dude on the lawn that's looking for him. I'm like, what? It's like it's a 40-year-old man on the lawn looking for him. Like, what the fuck? What did I do? He watches you, and I'm like, that's weird, but okay. I had the beer with him. That's all he wanted, but it was odd, awkward, weird situation.
That is kind of strange.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing I've ever had happen as far as like content creation originating. I don't want it to ever happen again. It was kind of odd.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm armed though, like I said. I mean, if you want to try to do something to me, I live in Mississippi. I carry a fucking gun everywhere I go. You know, it's at your own risk kind of thing. You know.
Good to know. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for coming and
no problem,
talking
man.
with me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.